the set.
Quiet on the set.
5 count.
5, 4, 3.
Hey Mepham, welcome back to the Midweek Update.
This week, we take a look at if anti-vape PSAs actually work for kids, how rescue dogs get adopted, the upcoming Election Day event, and the new guidance counselor here at Mepham.
This and more as we take a look at what's going on this week on the Midweek Update. I'm Bree Goodman.
And I'm Matt Natof, and welcome back to the Midweek Update, the B&B show that brings you closer to the people and places in and around the Mepham community.
You know, Matt, I keep seeing these PSAs about vaping on TV.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There have been so many of them recently.
Do you really think they work to stop teenagers from vaping?
Believe it or not, Liam Osborne took a closer look at just that.
If you vape, you could be inhaling toxic metals into your lungs.
You've probably seen this ad before. It was produced in 2020 by The Real Cost, a U.S. government-led initiative to stop kids from vaping. It shows the viewer a monster made of the metals contained in vapes in an attempt to scare kids away from it. So let's see what some students think.
I don't think it's that effective per se. It's kind of, it doesn't really show the negative effects. It just kind of tried to make it seem cool almost.
I don't think it's effective because people who vape already know all of the facts that the ad tells you. I don't know, I guess it seemed a little silly. That quote comes from an anonymous student who used to vape but doesn't anymore. And it seems to be a common theme that this ad isn't connecting with kids in the way that advertisers think it will.
The fact is that there haven't been any long-term longitudinal studies done with regards to vaping and the effect on young people because it's such a relatively new phenomenon. We don't fully understand how bad they are. We know they're bad. We don't know how bad.
So why is vaping so popular among teens in the first place? I always wanted to try it, and I didn't care about the health effects at the time.
Advertising companies really knew how to target youth because they are just developing, right? So they're not able to kind of problem solve and think through things in as mature of a way as maybe adults do.
Kids love flavorful stuff and fruity stuff. Studies shown that nicotine connected with a flavor that is enjoyment or triggers enjoyment in the body. It was even more addictive than nicotine itself.
If these PSAs aren't working and the marketing is so effective, then why are there still students that don't vape?
I don't vape because I actively run cross country and track for the school, and it would just affect my breathing and such.
I stopped because of health reasons, and I was also spending a lot of money. Health risks aside, money is also a big issue for people who vape. A 2016 study from the University of Louisville showed that some people who vape spend upwards of $250 per month on vaping. But these PSAs don't show any of this information. What could they be doing differently?
Sometimes including a face, you know, and not using kind of a monster, but putting real people in there resonates because it's always easier, I think, to empathize with the person and say, wow, I could kind of envision that being me or someone close to me, and I don't want that to happen. It makes it a little more real, I think.
For B&B, I'm Liam Osborne.
Thanks, Liam. That definitely answered my question.
Speaking of questions, Bree, are you a dog person?
I think so.
I know I am. I've actually always wanted to adopt a rescue dog.
I see where you're going with this. Here's Sammy Rooney to tell us about the importance of adopting dogs.
Every year, 6.3 million companion animals enter U.S. animal shelters nationwide. And yes, you heard that number right. Countless animals have been left without a forever home, and adoption rates have continued to fluctuate as the years go on. But with the help of animal shelter employees, these animals still have hope at a second chance.
So, being a volunteer, obviously you're taking care of the dogs, doing like their walking, food, water, and stuff. But to me, the number one job is making sure they finally feel safe, because a lot of the dogs are like strays and have been wandering on and have been abused, so they're extremely scared.
People forget the importance of adopting rescue animals. According to the Zebra, approximately 10 million animals are abused to death in the United States each year. When these animals do escape, 2.7 million of them are euthanized if the shelter has reached full capacity. These animals deserve better, And these disturbing statistics show the importance of adopting rescue animals over other methods of adopting pets.
No, it's extremely important to look at the rescue route because there are so many dogs that really need rescuing. And, you know, a lot of these dogs, they're really, really good dogs. And sometimes it's really the people that are messed up. And sometimes, you know, people just don't really have the heart for animals, whether it's a kitten or a cat or a dog or a puppy. And, you know, they just look at it as a number or an object. And these dogs or cats, kittens, they could really give and receive such an amazing life. Me personally, I've had 3 rescue dogs, and I will never, ever buy a dog.
There are so many animals that lack a place to call home. You can help reduce that 6.3 million and give these animals a chance for a gateway to a happier life. For B&B, I'm Sammy Rooney.
Aw, one day I'm totally going to adopt a dog.
I'm sure you will, but in the future. But way before that is Mepham's Cultural Day.
I forgot about that. I'm so excited for all the events.
Totally. The entire day is going to be fantastic, and here to give us some more details is AJ Laverdiere.
Thanks, guys. I'm in front of Mepham, where next Tuesday, several of Mepham's new Community Fest events will be held. The Community Fest is a new initiative here at Mepham for students to connect with and embrace the many fascinating cultures found right here in the local community. If you want to hear more specifics on the event, stay tuned for a special B&B video of the Mepham Community and Culture Fest to be released that morning. For B&B, I'm AJ Laverdiere.
Thanks, AJ. Bree, is it just me, or is it confusing to keep track of all the new events and people this school year?
It absolutely is. That's why I created a segment that tells you about different people and what they do within the Mepham community. This week, we got the opportunity to meet Miss Stutzman.
Who is that?
Exactly my point.
Thanks, guys. I'm Soel. I know a lot of you are familiar with the What Is That on the morning announcements, but today we will be introducing a new segment on the Midweek Updates. The version is Who Is That? Who Is That introduces you to the people in and around the Mepham community that you may not always get to know. Today, we take a look at Ms. Stutzman, a new guidance counselor here at Mepham. Nikki Saracini has more.
Thanks, guys. I'm Nikki Saracini, and this week we will introduce Ms. Stutzman, who is a new member of the guidance department here at Mepham. She started here in September and is already fulfilling her role as guidance counselor by helping all of the students with their guidance and wellness needs here at Mepham.
I help them with their scheduling. I help a lot of students who need assistance with friend situations, anything that's going on at home, help them communicate with their teachers regarding, making up any sort of missing assignments, anything like that.
Ms. Stutzman is excited to be a part of the Mepham community and looks forward to meeting her students.
I'd love to meet any of my other students or students that aren't mine just to come down here. I feel like the more faces I see, it's really nice to get to know them.
And now you know who Ms. Stutzman is. She's here and ready to help with all of your guidance and wellness needs. Nikki Saracini reporting. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Nikki. I honestly had no idea who Ms. Stutzman was until now. Well, that's it for me. I'm Soel, and back to you guys in the studio.
Wow, I never knew any of that.
Well, before your head explodes with all of this new information, we still have to hear our sports update.
Haha, very funny. But my brain can take infinite amounts of information.
Whatever, Matt. Let's just get to sports.
Thanks, guys. I'm so excited to start my new journey on Midweek Update. As our fall season starts to enter the next few weeks of playoffs, we only have a few more teams left standing and some very exciting games coming up. This past Saturday, the football team took on Garden City as their last game of the regular season. If you missed it, you can catch it on our B&B YouTube channel as we live stream the whole game for you guys. Our Pirates will face Garden City again this upcoming Friday for their first round of playoffs, where everyone is hoping the Pirates can go get a win and advance to the next round. Our only other men, or women, left standing is the girls varsity volleyball team, who faced Great Neck South this past Monday and won 3-0. They will play Elmont this Friday in the semifinals at 5 p.m. at Clark High School. It's definitely tough for our Mepham athletes as the competition gets harder and harder, but I can't wait to see what these teams have in store for us. For B&B, I'm Mel Arcos. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Bree, I want you to know that my head is not exploding with information.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Matt can retain information. Now, that's all for this week's episode of the Midweek Update.
We'll be back next week with all new stories from around the BMCHST to bring you inside the parts of the community we don't always get to see.
Until then, I'm Brianna Goodman.
And I'm Matthew Natof, and we'll see you all next week.
so you